My roommate Damon padlocked our freezer and locks himself in the spare room every night. Part 2. The padlock gave way on the third combination, and the smell, sour, iron heavy, utterly wrong, hit me like a wall before I even saw what was packed inside. The freezer was stacked floor to shelf with vacuum sealed bags of raw venison, maybe 30 pounds of it. Tucked behind the last row was a burner phone and a worn composition notebook filled with names, dates, and dollar amounts in Damon's handwriting. He'd been poaching deer from state land and selling the meat to local restaurants off the books for 8 months. The notebook showed he'd cleared over $12,000 doing it. I stood in the kitchen at 2 in the morning, hands trembling so hard the pages blurred, reading entry after entry in his handwriting. He'd been doing this because we were 4 months behind on rent, a number I had never seen, because Damon had been intercepting the landlord's calls, telling me every time it was handled that everything was fine, and I believed him every time. When Damon came out of the spare room around 3 and found me at the kitchen table with the notebook open, he didn't yell or try to grab it. He just stopped in the doorway, looked at my face, and walked to the table and sat down across from me like a man sitting down to receive a sentence. He told me the spare room was where he'd been keeping his butchering equipment, knives, a scale, vacuum seal bags, and that he'd done every cut himself, alone, after I went to bed. That detail turned my stomach in a way that had nothing to do with the smell. He said he padlocked the freezer because he didn't want me involved, didn't want me to see how far things had slipped, and had genuinely believed he could fix it before I ever found out. I asked him how close. He looked at the table and said, "Not close." But Damon sitting there at 3 in the morning with tears running silently down his face was not the man I thought I knew. He was someone who had been drowning alone for 8 months while I slept 10 feet away, assuming our life was fine. I left the notebook on the table and told him he had 1 week to come clean or I was gone. He didn't argue. He called the next morning. I heard his voice through the wall, quiet and even. He chose to tell the truth, and what I did not expect, our landlord, a 60-year-old man who'd hunted his whole life, went quiet on the phone, then asked if Damon could get him 2 pounds of venison and worked out a payment plan on the spot. Follow so you don't miss what happened to us after that night.